Ladies and gentlemen, Rafi Chowdhury back here with another video, and this time it's going to be a case study, and I've got some water with me because I am extra thirsty tonight. That sounded weird. Anyway. Today's case study is all about my good buddy and student, Donald Florentine. Donald, I hope I'm not, if you're watching this video, I hope I'm not butchering your last name. But Donald and I started working together, and man, this guy is just a genius. Like, he's just a professional at doing like marketing and stuff like that for, he's basically a social entrepreneurship expert, and he's worked with many social entrepreneurship sort of companies, companies that are charitable, what do you call it, non-profits. He focuses on building non-profit relationships. If you're a corporate entity, how do you build those relationships? And if you're non-profit, how do you build relationships with corporate entities? So Donald and I started working together, and Donald has a really good presence on LinkedIn. He's very well established in his space, but Donald wanted to take it to the next level, and he wanted to start writing for big name publications. And we said, okay, let's do it, Donald. So the first publication that we targeted for Donald was Business.com, because Business.com is probably one of the best B2B hyper-targeted websites out there. You could think of Business.com kind of like the world network of like your local chamber of commerce, the kind of people that you would see on the local chamber of commerce, and the type of people that are on Business.com. So we knew like Business.com would be an amazing one for him to start with, and I was very familiar with the process of getting into Business.com just because I'm a contributor there myself. And in tonight's email or tomorrow's email, I'm going to send you guys a cool email where I share one of the articles from there. So for Donald, so here's kind of what we did, and here are the main areas that we focused on to make sure that he had the best chance of getting into Business.com, which he's successfully gotten into. So the most important thing that they looked at was LinkedIn. So the moment that Donald sent his pitch in, just to verify that the person who filled out the application on Business.com to become a market expert was the same guy, the editor of Business.com directly added Donald on LinkedIn. So that tells you the value of making sure that you not only do you, of course, have a really good LinkedIn profile, but to make sure that your LinkedIn profile is extremely optimized for who you are and what you do. So take your most recent companies and think whatever it is you're working on, your most recent job, and put that at the very top, and be extremely detailed in that profile on who you are and what your message is and what you're doing, so that when that contributor goes and sees you, your LinkedIn profile will actually sell you to that editor. The second thing that we did is when we pitched, when they asked for give us some ideas for topic ideas, instead of just saying marketing, sales, nonprofit, we actually pitched specific blog post titles but not just any blog post titles. We specifically pitched blog post titles that were similar to ones which were already published on Business.com before. So we basically looked at other publications, we looked at Business.com, we found the same topics. You can actually do this. You can just go to Google, you can type in site, the domain.com, space, and then put in parentheses whichever keyword you're searching for. And if you press enter, after you put the keyword in that search, in the parentheses, it'll actually scrape the entire website and search for that keyword across the entire website, as long as the page was indexed by Google. So it's a way of searching an entire website for something. They don't have a search button or something. So we used that method to find all the places where nonprofits and some of these keywords that he was going to write about were mentioned, saw the article titles, and we tried to create something very similar to that, and we pitched those specific article titles in our application. So the next thing we did for Donald that really made a difference, as far as we understand it at least, is that just like you would sell yourself on a job interview, right? If someone is interviewing you, you have a resume, what do you want to focus on? You want to have a few positions, that's the best ones that you've done, and you want to put a whole bunch of really good keywords and a really good, you want to put a bunch of numbers. So I did X for X company, my role was X, and because of my role at company X, I was able to increase sales, increase revenues by X amount, and that impacted the whole project in blah, blah, blah shape or format. So that's the kind of format you want to talk in. So when we pitched Donald, Donald pitched his application, he basically made sure that he was very, very specific and talked about the results that he was able to produce with his companies and the corporate organizations that he's worked with in the past. So very specific results that he was able to achieve, and he gave also some proof of these results by pointing them to, which should be another point we should make, by pointing all of this back to anywhere on the web or in PDF format or magazine, wherever he got mentioned, he gave the link to that. He gave some, maybe if it was a PDF, he basically, what I recommended is that he upload that into a Google Doc and send that link as well so they can see that he did achieve that. So showing proof of said achievements. Okay, so Donald did these things really, really well for Business.com in our application process. We worked together very closely. So to boil it all down, I'm not going to make this video very long, so just kind of condensing it all down. Most important thing they look at is LinkedIn. Make sure your LinkedIn profile looks stellar. Make sure you have recommendations on LinkedIn. Make sure people endorse you. Make sure your most important jobs and things like that are at the very top listed, and make sure you spend time to fully flesh those results out. What did you do for that company? Who did you work with? What did you do for that person? What kind of results did you produce? What kind of revenues and numbers did you hit? It's very important to list all that on there. We gave very specific blog post titles where they ask for the ideas, pitch ideas. So just saying generic keywords, we actually gave exact titles. And then we also talked about Donald's specific results that he's achieved with these companies. And we talked a lot with numbers. Everything is a numbers game, right? So I did X, Y, Z for this much period. This was my role. Here are the numbers that I hit, and here's how it impacted the whole project or the whole company. So those type of things helped sell his case. And also we showed proof of anything that was said in this number 3 here, by giving some exact examples, whether it be a PDF, if it was a PDF, we put it in a Google Doc and send that in. If he had web-based dimensions and things like that, we put those links in there to show that Donald was already an expert of what he was talking about. And the final thing, which I barely have room to write, I'll write it on here. He gave an example of his other blog posts from his own blog. He hasn't done a whole lot of blogging, but he has a very good company blog that he's maintained over the years. So example of blog posts of his. So we took all that and we sent those in as an example as well to again showcase that Donald was indeed an expert on the topics that he wishes to contribute on as a market expert for Business.com. And that is how we were able to get Donald into Business.com. So if you guys enjoyed this video, if it helped you, definitely comment, or if you're seeing it on Facebook, share the video, comment, and let me know if these kind of videos help you guys. But most importantly, don't just watch these videos, take action. Go out there and do it. And most importantly, if you feel like you don't have time, you don't want to do it, you're confused, you still don't know how to do all of it, by all means, shoot me a message. You should definitely consider our Zero to Famous in a Year Accelerator, where we teach these kind of topics and we walk with you literally one-on-one. I take you by the hand with weekly coaching calls, and I show you exactly how to become a contributor to any major publication out there, because the system is very similar. You'd be surprised how similar the ideas are. But if you want to get into Forbes, you want to get into Inc., Business.com, Business Insider, Fast Company, any of these big name publications, there are some systematic ways of building relationships with editors, systematic ways of doing the pitch like we talked about here, that will certainly increase your chances of getting into any of these major publications. Will you for sure get in? There's no guarantee. However, if you pitch properly and you do a good job with it and you understand what they're looking for, your likelihood of getting accepted as a contributor is significantly higher versus if you just carry a generic pitch and you throw this out to everybody. That's what everybody else out there is doing. So if you want to be the person that actually gets in, don't do what everybody else out there is doing. Take some extra time and make a very hyper-targeted pitch, and you will have a very good shot at it. So without many more things, I'm going to take another sip. And yes, I'm going to make you watch this on video. That's all I have for you guys today.